welcome to this podcast. My name is Snow Bear. This is my name given in ceremony. I am from Crow Clan, but I'm also Métis. I am mixed like a slush puppy. I am partly Ojibwe and partly French, and this is me. I live on Haudenosaunee land that is unceded, and I also am a child of earth and sky, and I am just me, a simple human being living a life on earth like everybody else. Thank you very much. I don't live on the reservation. My ancestor, Jeanne Cardinal, married a white man and lost all her relations with her community. But here I am, tracing back the steps towards my culture. I'm mostly French, I speak English, and I do know a little bit of Ojibwe Moan. I am also very humble. I love the earth and all my relations. When we speak of all the relations, the teachings are that it includes everything that is alive, that has a spirit, whether it's the animals, the plants, the rocks, the trees, or our brothers and sisters. So my first podcast episode is addressing something that really bothers me around the world, is that a lot of us are searching the call of life. We are slowly dying inside and not knowing where to go, what to seek, but we know we want authenticity. We want to go back to being a loving being, to be feeling compassionate, to be kind, and to feel kindness around us. Enough rudeness and violence. We want things to be good and live a good life. How do we get there? How do we reverse our life? And how do we get that call to make things better, to get our medicine, heal ourselves, and find our purpose? What makes us tick in life? And how the old teachings really bring us back to where we need to be. What are the old things that the elders tried to teach us? Let's go back to the medicine wheel. What is nourishing your body physically? The food you eat, the things you do. What is nourishing your body mentally? What is your surrounding like? Who are the people telling you around yourself? Are they good things or are they not so good things? What about spiritually? What do you believe in? Do you believe in the old ways? It's all questions, and how we must make sometimes small changes, little steps, one day at a time, and in that way help us achieve balance. We achieve balance by, with the medicine wheel, with balancing mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual needs. We cannot heal until we've made a complete loop. Otherwise, it won't be balanced well enough. That's the teachings I've got. And these teachings are thousands of years old. I did not invent them. They come from our elders, from our First Nations people, the Indigenous and the Métis. I find a good way to start to get through the old ways is to connect with Mother Earth, to take a walk barefoot in the grass, on the soil, on the sand. Feel the rocks under your feet. It's very grounding. Know that without earth, we're nothing. Without ground to walk on, what will we be? Like the creation story says, We can't live on water. We can't live on Turtle Island. A turtle gave its life so it could build a continent and Sky Woman dance and create land. This is the old the old Mohawk creation story. And it's very important that we acknowledge Mother Earth every day. I think if we start with Mother Earth and Father Sky, we have a pretty good start. Remember, if you lay on Mother Earth, sit on her, you get your food from her. The plants grow cotton. You're wearing a cotton shirt. And, you know, the lumber of our houses comes from the trees that grows from the earth. So technically, even though we're not living like our ancestors used to, we still live off the earth. It's just in a different way. We don't always realize it. The hardest thing to live with is concrete. Concrete breaks the contact like nothing else. Make sure to bring your medicine forward and go back to earth. The sky is also a great connection we often forget. While you lay on your couch in your house, look up and remember, think of the stars, how long they've been there. All our ancestors are now up there with them. And someday we'll go back there. What do you want to be remembered as? What do you want your people to remember you like? Remember, within 3 generations, we might not be known anymore. So what do you want to be remembered at? Do you want your impact or ripple, your legacy to be like? What is the call of your life? What do you want? What is your dream? And don't tell me money. Money's useless. When you're talking about earth and sky, spiritually, there's no money. What do you want your people to remember you like? What do you want yourself to be like in 100 years? Remember, we'll all come out of this life the same way as everybody else. There's no escape from death. But while you're gifted the life, because life is really a gift of having this opportunity, this privilege, because so many died before us. This privilege to be here, to live in this moment. This privilege because some people don't even make it past 2 years old, 6 years old, 14 years old. What do you want your life to be like? Hey, 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 ho, ho. Singing, it brings back so much to you. It boosts your immune system. It boosts your joy. Singing is a very old form of communication. It brings your spirit out. Remember, sing your songs, whether they're contemporary music or traditional music. No matter where you come from on earth, what speaks to your soul, you should sing it. You know, my kukum used to say, the longest journey we can take is from our brain to our heart. Decolonization is really about leaving what you've learned in your brain and going back to your heart, your spirit, your pure essence, of who you are. You are not meant to suffer or to feel like you have to perform in a society, because what you really have to focus on is being the best version of yourself as you can be. And it's not by putting others down or bashing them that you're going to look good or rise up. When you really want to rise up is by rising everybody else. You helping each other like a community, watching out for each other. Sometimes it starts with yourself. Do you really take good care of yourself? Are you watching out for yourself? Are you watching out for your children? Are you watching out for your parents, your grandparents? What is your life like? Because, you will find a lot of medicine in simple things, like drinking a glass of water. Water is sacred. Water is such a beautiful element. You can put your thoughts into it, your love into your water. You can heal with it. You can take a shower and take the load off the shoulders with a simple warm shower. You can go in the lake and feel the cold water ripple on you, and what a great feeling it is. Well, when you're not fearing water. But water is what a lot of us are made of. There's a wise woman I've met for a special event a few weeks ago, and she told me there were 4 kinds of sacred waters. There was a rainwater. There was the water in the rivers and oceans. There was a water in the womb of the women. Well, I don't really remember the 4th kind of water. But what's important is that we work with these basic elements again. We can put our thoughts in water, our love, and our thankfulness, our gratefulness. Put it in the water. It will help you a lot. What's very important is that we go back to the things that were simple, not complicated. Spirit is never complicated. Fire. Fire is also a great element to work with. You know what? Sitting around a bonfire, the greatness of that feeling of warmth and of watching the sky, and it's just so therapeutic. That's because our soul is longing it. Because you know what? We've been sitting on concrete way too long. So make sure you feel it. Sometimes we can't always have a bonfire. We live in an apartment. But sometimes we can, smudge or plan a weekend to a place where we can have a bonfire. Fire is very transforming. It's the eastern door element. And it's old as tale, This fire element is beautiful. And when you go to a sweat lodge or a place where there's a bonfire, make sure to confide in the bonfire, especially if you're just you and your partner with it. You can talk to the fire, you can talk to the water. It'll absorb your troubles. Just make sure you know that. These things are alive. They're part of our body as well. The sun looks like a circle of fire. It's where things begin and end. It's the infinite. So, it's important. I don't know if you've heard about the 7 grandfather teachings. They're mostly teachings by Ojibwe and Anishinaabe people, Potawatomi maybe. It starts with the bison. The bison, the symbol of respect. It is the utmost respect because the bison gave our ancestors shelter, clothes, food, tools. Without the bison, they couldn't survive. The bison took pity on the indigenous people for them to survive. So the bison's been known as a symbol of respect. Whether it was the plain bison or if it was the woodland bison, but still, it remains one of the most respected symbol for indigenous Métis people. And this teaching is really about respecting yourself, but it's also about respecting all your relations, knowing that whatever you do or say has a ripple effect, and whatever you do and say goes out there and eventually ripples, and the whole people are affected with it. But everybody in our relations are. There's an old teaching, an old story about the wolf who showed Nanabuzu the world. The wolf also became a very big ally to the indigenous people. And now they say that whatever happens to the wolf happens to the people, and whatever happens to the people happens to the wolf. So when we say everything we do or say has a ripple effect to all our relations, it is the truth. The truth about how we're all related, and we're all living on Turtle Island and sharing this world. We live in a world now that all the races of Earth live on the same city, and that is new. But it doesn't mean it has to be bad. It shows that we can get along together. We're all brothers and sisters. We might have differences, but we got a whole lot more similarities than any differences. At the base, we have a different physique, but inside, we have a soul. We all come from the same source. We're all a spiritual being in a physical body. We all come from the same place. We all want the same needs. We want to please Creator. We want to have respect. We want to be loved. We want a good life. We want good food, a nice shelter. We all have similar needs. But sometimes our traumas, what we've learned, the abuse, the violence, all of that becomes so entangled in our brain and in our being that it creates, disputes among ourselves. We can no longer see with the eyes of a pure child. We only see with what we've experienced, and that's when we need to realize that we might need help to heal. The biggest thing, the biggest gift you can offer yourself is to the gift of healing. In healing, you heal the people before you and the people after you. It doesn't mean they won't experience suffering or medicine or abuse or violence, but it means it will be less of it in the end. You're still doing the work, and by doing the work, for example, not being addicted anymore, going sober, these things speaks volumes. You know how much bravery it takes to get out of that hole you've sinked in? It's the same thing with when you're experiencing violence and abuse. The bravery you need, the strength to get you out of there is amazing. And sometimes we need help from people around us. And it's one of the biggest thing you can do for yourself, for the people before you, for your children. It's the most beautiful gift. And it's also the hardest thing to ever do. But I know one thing. It is possible. The word impossible is actually saying I'm possible. So bravery is a symbol of the bear. It's also a symbol of medicine, because it takes a lot of bravery to admit that you need to heal. That's half of the battle right there. The strength to get out of bed in the morning and do your things when you're facing depression, that is bear medicine. Bear medicine can have a lot of meaning, because bravery and courage on a daily basis, it can have so many meanings. Sometimes bravery is actually going up there and singing in front of a crowd. Sometimes it's participating in a karaoke. Or bravery can be, doing your prayer before receiving a cancer treatment, before you get that medicine, right? Sometimes bravery is going to court and facing the judge and telling him from your heart. Sometimes to be courageous is fighting a war that sometimes is silent, like arthritis. Arthritis is so underrated, but many of our older people are suffering from it. Living with arthritis is an act of courage. It is really a pain to live with, and to be able to still get up in the morning and facing the day like if nothing happened, in silence. That is bravery and courage. To denounce someone who's bullying a child or an adult, to face your bully, or to help someone face their bully, that is an act of a tremendous courage. That's when a warrior comes in. A warrior is someone who stands up for the weak and the innocent. Because sometimes the one that is bullied is so flattened that it kisses the ground. It needs a hand to raise back on its knees and eventually stand up. And that's what really great courage is about. It's not always about killing an enemy. Courage has so much more meaning. It's a beautiful teaching. You can go on and on with it. And so, like a mama bear when she protects her cubs, the same way that, some people will protect their children or stand up for example, for the missing and murdered women out there. Well, this is an act of bravery. It's a warrior spirit. Stand up for the people who can't speak. It's also a Girls Guides and Boy Scouts to stand for the people who can't speak for themselves. It's a stewardship. It's for the land. When people speak about the land, sometimes we need to speak for her and let the greedy people know that the land is alive, that it is our heritage, that without Mother Earth, we can't do much. She's the reason we're living. I had a dream once, An eagle took me to his nest. I flew on its back, and the nest was high on the mountain. And as I looked down, the eagle says, "Look, as far as you can down. What do you see?" I said, "I see the earth." He says, "Good." And then he says, "Look up, as far as you can. What do you see?" I said, "I see the sky. It's gorgeous." He says, "Good." He says, "Now, what really matters in life is what's going on between earth and sky. Everything else is just not important." So, the teaching behind this, have you ever heard of the hollow bone? This is something I really like. The hollow bone is when the energy from the sun, the source, enters your head, and the energy of the Mother Earth enters through your feet, and you just become your spirit. You channel through earth and sky the beautiful energy, and you just send out love, compassion, unity, kindness. This is the hollow bone teachings. Well, it's also a lot of things either. I'm not a professional. I'm just me, a nobody. Me. I'm just me. It doesn't matter who we think we are as a social status. We all bleed the same color. We might be different colors genetically, but it's only a vehicle of our ancestors. It's a memory. It's an illusion of what we look like. It's a frequency, really. It's a music. You know, we all have different bodies, and that is okay. But down inside, that's where it's important, where the spirit resides. That's who we are. We're all a reflection of each other. And so it's important. So about the call of life, it's important that you find out what you want that doesn't involve money. Something that is about values, about, your purpose. What does make you tick? What do you love to do? What are you passionate about? What makes your heart tick that you feel like you're no longer working? What do you want to be remembered as when you passed? All these things matter. We only have a little bit of time, but know that while on this earth, we have plenty of opportunities to take. And what's important is that we try our best. There's no perfectness. Perfect is an illusion again, because in nature, everything flourishes when given a chance. It doesn't ask itself, should I bloom or not? It just does. And we have so much to learn from nature. And what's important is that in this first episode, I want you to reflect on where you want to go in life, and what do you want to leave as your legacy? What is your medicine? What is your superpower? Is it drawing? Is it yoga? Is it gathering medicine, painting, dancing? But no matter what you think, I know that you are loved, and I want the best for you, the actual best. And know that I'm very thankful to have you as my relations. I hope that you find the call of life and enjoy every minute of it. I want you to be loved and feel loved and appreciated and respected. We all deserve this. All children matters. Gitchi miigwech. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Call of Life.